They came to dedicate and unveil a new statue in Washington City's Veterans Park in front of the now historic museum. This busy street corner on Main Street already holds the memories of 3 other pioneer leaders in the early days of settlement. Now the city is unveiling one more, only this time it's a woman.
We're here today to unveil the bronze statue of Malinda Allison Hunt Kelly Covington by sculptor Jerry Anderson, who's here with us today.
Malinda Covington did washing and ironing for the Mormon Battalion. Members of the Mormon Battalion readied the flags to honor the country with respect.
She will stand proudly right here amongst these men, and together the men and women helped flourish and fill this desert land.
I've often wondered why we don't celebrate more women in our history, and I've concluded that they were too busy taking care of all the responsibilities of home and farm and ranch, and the men had the time to keep the journals that we review today.
Pioneer women like Malinda were strong and held true and faithful to their mission to build up our now thriving community. Through much sacrifice and with an abundance of the Dixie spirit, pioneer women stood shoulder to shoulder with their male counterparts to ensure the quality of life that we now enjoy. Washington City is forever grateful for its pioneer women's strength, sacrifice, and spirit.
Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson shared her thoughts on the grit and spiritual fervor that Malinda and other pioneer women endured.
But they were there, side by side, arm in arm, plowing fields, tending children, growing crops, spinning fabric, making clothing, giving birth, laying out the dead, doing all of the things that they could to survive and to thrive. And it's wonderful to see Washington City remember the women on whose shoulders we all stand.
An introduction of the Cotton Days Grand Marshal was also brought forth, and it was only fitting that she is a woman.
We are honored to have Gail Cooper-Smith as this year's Grand Marshal. Will you come on up here, Gail? We're actually going to make her an official Cotton Days volunteer.
Then it was time for the unveiling of the statue. Malinda's bronze face looking towards the sky glistened in the sunlight.
To Jerry Anderson for the beautiful bronze statue of Malinda that he sculptured. We want to acknowledge Priscilla Cahoon, some of you will recognize her name, that worked with him in paving the way to see this seed she planted now bloom.
Carmen Snow, who plays Malinda at the historic Covington home in Washington City, passed on the inspiration of this statue. The historic Covington home is the oldest remaining building in Utah's Dixie. It's currently owned by Washington City and is open for tours.
You know, they mentioned Priscilla Cahoon. I was actually her little secretary when she was a historian here. And she just planted the seed in my head that she always wanted a statue of Malinda to represent the pioneer women. Well, last year we bought a small statue and donated it to the city and put it in the Covington home. And so the youth council said, you know what? We need to have a statue down here, shoulder to shoulder with the men. And I just know Priscilla worked so hard, and she died of COVID a couple of years ago, or she would have been here.
Well, Carmen's been working on this for a long time, so as members of the Youth Council in the Covington home where we meet, we see her history in that building like every week. So it is special and it's unique that we get something that's so special to our group, and the woman, the history behind it, our first woman statue right here, I think it's special to me.
Yeah, we worked really hard on raising the money for it and all that.
A plaque soon to be placed below the statue will relay a message to all.
1815 to 1894, second wife of Robert Dockery Covington, representing the strength, sacrifice, and spirit of the Dixie Cotton Mission pioneer women.
But what would Malinda Covington think of her new statue?
She is smiling from ear to ear. When we tweaked her and turned her to face her husband, who's a statue over to the south, she just came to life. And I'm not exaggerating. We had tears flowing down our cheeks when we saw that happen.
Several youth council members dressed the part of the women in the pioneer days who worked so hard to keep life going.
I am portraying Martha Spence Haywood. She's originally from Dublin, Ireland, and she came over here when she was about 22 with her brother and her sister. They decided to come over here just for a better life and get an idea of what it was like to be outside of their own country. In 1861, she was called down here to the Cotton Mission, and she was the first school teacher down here. And later, her husband decided to leave with his plural wife, and she decided to stay here and teach the children of Washington and give them a better life.
And while Martha Haywood did not teach in this old school, which is now a museum on the corner of Main Street, the school is also a reminder of the strength, sacrifice, and spirit she and others passed on to future generations. This tribute to women pioneers was the kickoff of Washington City's Cotton Days, remembering those who came before, setting the path, working hard, and making a new way of life despite the hard times.
Cotton, I right away must go, but the reasons why they call on me, I'm sure I do not know.
We felt it was only fitting that we would add a historical marker on 200 East, renaming it Covington Street.
In Washington City, Melissa Anderson, Community Education News.